We're back with some more stuff, hopefully. Um, Today might be slightly shorter because I'm hella tired. But maybe we'll get into the groove of things and I'll pick up and everything will be happy and we'll all sing songs and dance and stuff. You can see since the last stream where I got immensely frustrated with the workflow that I was trying to create. I have effectively spent the entire Wednesday, so the entirety of yesterday, like 80% of yesterday, just trying out, reading up on what other people do and how other people, their workflows like work. And I've come to a workflow decision that I think works. So that's the one that we're going to be using today. And that one kind of does away with the whole idea that I wanted to have a workflow that could immediately have art assets implemented in my level blockouts to have a general like feeling of like atmosphere for these levels. I really wanted to do that. But the more I try to find a workflow that would allow me to do that, the more I figured out that that is going to make the art side of things more difficult and more ugly. And at the same time, it's going to make the level design process more painful and more slow. So there's no reason to do that because it's going to be annoying for both sides. So we're going to use these blockout tools. I've bought a plugin for blockout tools. We'll see it in use quite a lot today to block out the levels like you should, to be honest. And then only once all of this is done and I've had people playtest this entire damn dungeon, will I go through and will I break things down and start making like art assets to replace all of these like blockout bits. So that's the basic idea. We're going to just be using these blockout tools to create these things. So as you can see, this is pretty similar to the room that we had. I've changed a couple of things around a little bit because it's very easy to make these slopes now as well. So that really creates some amazing opportunities, and just in general, like the idea that I can just make like this round curved shape, or that I can just add in like these ramps or these railings, right? And these are all like procedurally made. Really helps like tickle my creativity. So I think that we're going to have a good time with that. And then we come to this hallway. We tried to redesign that last week, and we kind of had a little bit of trouble. But now that I've redesigned it with these tools, this entire hallway is a lot better. So let me actually just jump in to the game, and let me make sure, yes, I am on my headphones. Again, sometimes my headphones are just like that good. They're pretty cheap headphones. It's just that my speakers are actually like really bad. Good morning from Brazil. Brazil, that's quite far away. Good morning to you too. Also, I changed some things around as far as like enemy spawning behavior goes to make it more, for lack of a better term, Kingdom Hearts-like. So now only when you get close enough to an enemy will it actually appear, but I still have a little tick box on the enemies that will just make them be there from the start. Like start them as active, or they can be activated through the use of a spawner. So I have some options. Anyway, this is the hallway that we have now. So we've got this like empty little bit, and then we've got this little bit of a platforming section, which is actually like remarkably not that easy. It was quite difficult to make sure that you could not make the jump this way, but that this was a makeable jump. So there we go. And then we get to this little area here, which, of course, I just kind of kept from how it was before. And then all of this is not really filled up yet. So there's gonna have to be some more stuff going on here to really fill this up. Mostly enemies probably, but I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be doing with that yet. But you can feel that this is a lot more substantial than just, hey, this is a hallway connecting place A to place B, which was what it was before. Even after we redesigned it, it was like just a hallway that went like this and still didn't have that much going for it. Now it actually feels like something is going on here. Again, like this entire section of it over here is still more or less empty, but that is adjustable. So let's go back in here and I will show you the things for the stuff. And what's amazing about this change that I made today to the code of these things, we can set these things to start active. Actually, let's just get the enemy values for them. So we can say that they do not start active. Let's see, where is all that stuff? Surely somewhere in here. There we go. No, not there. Okay, here we go. So these will activate on overlap. They will not start active. And then each individual one, I can change very easily the overlap radius. So when they start activating. For these ones, it probably should all be a little bit smaller than the default 2000. So we can just... I only have 3 objects selected. What the hell? Can I not update them all at the same time? No, I definitely can. So let's set this to like 700 instead for all of them, right? So they only start appearing when you're fairly close to them. So they're a little like more jump scary, for lack of a better term. And they will surprise you a little bit. I figure that is actually a quite valuable thing here, is the idea that you don't really know that they're coming up and that they can surprise you. So especially in other rooms like the room that we have here, while you're running away from whatever this guy is doing, you could run into the radius that caused the spawns for these guys, and then they suddenly show up and you also have to deal with them. But if you're used to this level and you know this level, you can probably figure out like a route that doesn't trigger their spawning. Well, technically they're already spawned, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, that's what I've been working on today quite a lot, actually. Reworking a lot of these spawning mechanics, and also adding in, like, a... This will probably be a pretty good example. So we can see here, like, that thing spawns in. The positioning of that particle thing is not quite there yet. That's actually quite loud. Holy shit, that's actually like really loud. You can just kind of choose this. I'm gonna I don't know if I want to keep that in. We'll see eventually. Maybe we need to turn down the volume on this thing a little bit, but yeah, at the moment all of the enemies just share that one that's the wrong button. At the moment all of the enemies just share that one simple like appearing effect. As you can see here, both of them appear and we can just like fight them, or we can run away and then these appear and are immediately aggressive. There's no real like reason to fight these here, because obviously you can just kind of run through. And I don't know if that's necessarily a problem. It might be. But I think that it makes them feel a little bit more grounded. They don't just pop into existence, so I can actually make things spawn in. Why not use net volume instead of collision to activate the AI? I'm not sure. Because it just works, honestly. Yeah. I don't really have any specific like reasoning behind it. Like this just kind of works. And it's fairly easily like adjustable on a per character basis. And also easily interacts with like all those rules that these characters have on their variables. Anyway, let's take a look at the next one, which I think is all the way over there. Okay, I guess. Well, no, I don't want to do that one yet. I think it might be this one. That ain't it either. One of these ones is going to be the one that we're working on here. It's definitely not the T hallway. Oh, it's just 1-4 stairs. That's just not loaded. Okay, I think this is the next level that I want to look at because it is a mess. And it also, for some reason, just takes forever to load in when I like move into it. I don't know why that is. I legitimately have no idea. But it's actually kind of annoying. Like, something in here is taking up a lot of GPU. There we go. A lot of GPU resources. I don't know what. It's specifically something inside of there. Because when I go through that wall, suddenly Unreal starts lagging the hell out. And I don't know why, but we're going to be removing all that level geometry and replacing it with some more blockout stuff today. So I guess we don't really care too much. I hope it changed the changes I just made to the enemies, or it saved those rather. I also don't know why Unreal keeps starting up as a small window. It just randomly started doing that today. It's probably because I closed it as a small window, and since then it's only crashed. So probably if I close out of it now and reopen it, it'll be fine, but I don't care. So it's this specific level that exists like somewhere over here, right? No, not that one. Yeah, so even when I just get close to this, let's just go down maybe to low settings for now. Something in here is really fucking with me. I don't know what it is, but we're going to be replacing this, so I don't really care. Okay, so how are we going to replace this? That's the thing that I'm about to go into. This will be the stair step level, and then we have these blockout brushes. The one thing that I will say about these blockout brushes is that they are not compatible with like having any sort of halfway reasonable UVs. So if you're looking to also use these to like actually build out your level geometry, unless it is a like a world aligned material or whatever, that's definitely like not something that you're going to be able to do with it, because the UVs on these are atrocious. Which is fine, because again, they're blockout tools. They're not like final level geometry. They're not meant to be. Would be kind of neat if they could be, though, because that would like be the exact use case that I was trying to find a workflow to accomplish. And I ended up just kind of deciding that maybe that's just not a workflow that I should be pursuing anyway, because it does waste a little bit of your time, right? Doing some like art stuff while you're doing level design, like it's distracting to a certain extent. So yeah, but actually I think that these are, oh no, there's just one big thing, isn't it? We'll get back into that in a moment, but for now, just I don't know, over the last couple of streams, YouTube has been pretty consistently bitching at me about it not receiving data, while OBS doesn't say that it's dropping frames. So I don't know if YouTube's just been fucking up lately or what's up with any of that, but it's definitely not a great time, because it does make me think that the stream is messing up. Well, I think it is fine, right? Everybody watching this, the stream is fine? Should be. So yeah, just as easy as that, I've made the like rough box that the level will exist in. And then I need to figure out where the hell I even put the like cube grid output for this. It's this one, right? And for now, let's just start putting down blocks in. It's also kind of annoying that when you place something into the level, it doesn't snap to the position grid. You might be able to make it actually. That's surface snapping. Would be interesting to see if that's a thing that you can do, but for now, let's just set this to being size 100, 100 again. Or just move things around like this and copy these over. Let's see. I think the first thing we want to put in is like this wall over here, I want to say. Just to have the separation between these two bits. Oh, also, that skull is definitely going the wrong direction. We'll take care of that at some point, I'm sure. The other annoying bit, which is a very minor annoyance, is that unlike moving widgets for actors as a whole, these little gizmos that we have here only, like, you can't hold shift and move with it. Which is a thing that, like, that's an issue with Unreal itself, not with this particular plugin, I know, but still, I'm going to bitch about it. And I think this just kind of goes all the way up, right? So we just, even if we go through here, that's all the same. Ooh, it might not be. It might not be. It's not. Well, at least we've got that wall in place, so we have a good guidance direction for that. And then I guess we'll copy this one. Like, this is what I mean, right? We can just copy this over like this and move it around, and the camera will move with it. It's quite a nice feature. This needs to not be that far out. Might need to be a little further that way though. That'll be good for now. We'll look into this in a moment. We probably will make this a little less chaotic, to be honest with you. Let's just keep the up area here clean for now, like the upstairs area there. We will put in a floor, obviously, but aside from that, I'm going to keep it pretty much clean, I think. We set this just to a height of 100. And you can see how quickly we can build this kind of stuff out, right? At this moment, I'm just kind of like effectively tracing and not really building anything. But it is still a very quick process, which is quite nice. And I'm thinking I want to build like a little bit of a labyrinth here at some point. I don't know how or what I'm going to do with that, but let's check out what this is like. So this definitely also needs to have a little bit of room left over there. And then let's just copy over this entire thing here. Now we'll just do this with it for now. We can just kind of fall down into there. We don't need to be able to go back up yet. So this is fine for now. Yeah, so I'm gonna get rid of like this little bit of decoration here. I'm actually gonna get rid of these things as well, because I want to have all the freedom that I can while working on... I'm even going to get rid of the enemies, to be honest with you. Because I'm going to just rework this entire map, I think, effectively. So the rough shape of everything will keep in place, but everything aside from that is going to just be redone from scratch. There's one enemy down here. I do think that I want to keep these little bits, though, because they're quite nice, quite cool. This does need to be rotated around, though. All three of them. And then all three of them also need to be moved a little bit. Ooh, but that's going to be an issue. Because of the scene that it goes up and down with. How the hell was this even a thing? Why is it so goddamn rotated? I don't know. I guess we just copy this thing over. Again, make it like, make this 200 high. You know what this reminds me of? And it's partly due to the choice of color and the grid material, which the grid material is just like a general thing that just level design and block out stuff has. But the default color here also is reminiscent of the a lot of like very unfinished community-made maps in Team Fortress 2. That kind of is like reminding me of those good old days where we all used to play that stuff. Now, does this sequence, native components are, I don't care. I want to open this level sequence. This only is animating in the Z, right? So if I just move these in a direction that is not Z, it should still animate them properly, in theory. I don't know that is how that works, but I think it should be. So I open up this now. It still does move them. But that might just be the visualization in the sequence. So let's just play through some of this. Pretty easy and quick to get to that point and just see what it looks like. It's actually quicker and easier to get through there from the combat room. But I don't know. Oh, there we go. I really like it. It's a very simple like visual effect for the enemy appearing. And a visual effect that, by and large, is going to have to be changed. Because it's a little like too simple, a little too clean. Like, it needs to probably have a little bit more complexity to it, or more detail and like be a little bit more cartoony than it is now. Right now, it's just a little bare bones. And there's probably going to be specific ones for like specific enemies. Like I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with all that yet, but that's probably going to be a thing. But I really like just walking up and having these things appear. It really makes things feel good. Oh yeah, this is still there. That's good because I didn't set up anything to platform up yet, so actually quite happy that that exists. In a way. In another way, I am not, because that makes it impossible to test what I want to know. Maybe. I guess we're about to find out. Maybe I can just make this invisible. But can I just make this disappear from... Oh, I totally can. Okay, no, that's good. But then when I go back into gameplay mode, it's still... I guess that still doesn't really matter. Yeah, it definitely... Okay, so that's a bit of a bummer. That it works that way. Yeah, I know there's probably some issues there. I don't care. Can we, like... change this around in any meaningful way? I know that I can just do this, right? And that should... be good enough, I think. So I guess that kind of works. I'm getting a wave. I probably got a wave from Studio Vacant like half an hour ago, and I just noticed now. Sorry about that. Just... it's hard to focus sometimes, man. Especially when I'm working with like half a brain today. Well, no, that's not true. I'm working with half a brain on a good day. I'm working with like a tenth of a brain today. It's been a busy couple of weeks. It's starting to slowly catch up. So. All right. Let's cube grid. Output tool. I just put down the same blocks again. Oh, no, definitely want that to be grid snap. Let's just put down these same blocks again, just again for mostly consistency's sake at this point. And then we'll start thinking about what we're actually going to do with this from like a level design perspective. That it's a little bit more interesting than what we have right now. Because what we have right now is, I'm not afraid to say it, boring as fuck. But we're going to improve it. At least that's the idea. And then eventually we'll probably like recreate these little, I don't even know what they're supposed to be. But as long as they don't serve a gameplay purpose and they're like an art thing, we're not going to worry about them right now. If it's just for decoration, they don't impact gameplay, we're going to just straight up ignore everything about it. Okay, yeah. So we're going to recreate everything except this thing up here because I don't like it. Also, there's one enemy left here, which I was going to delete. So now we have this way back up here, which is also wildly inconsistent at how much height each one of these things gains you, but who cares? Now, let's see how we're gonna move between these two parts, because I don't know that the way we have it set up in the original block out of this is very good. I don't know what the difference is between a linear stem and a linear stem manual. This just only works with you putting in numbers, and this one works with you. Doesn't automatically add in. Don't judge me. It doesn't automatically add in more steps, but that is actually sometimes maybe kind of a good thing. So now all these steps will be equal in their length and their height. Which maybe sometimes is not what you want, but it's definitely what I want right now, so get fucked. And then we can set the stair type to close, and there we go. That is so much better. Now each one of these is like 300 units or so, I think. So let's say that we have only 6 steps. Oh, that seems a little bit better. And now just one object, so that's a bunch easier. And let's copy this over, and then we're going to do something with it down here, surely. But it will face the other way. And it will be a lot more steps. Like this one will probably have like 100 steps to actually be a proper staircase. And will be less ridiculously long. And a little more thin is what I was thinking. So we're definitely hiding something behind here, right? Right? That's definitely something we're doing. Because we're moving that thing over there. I don't know, we're just going to kind of copy it over. And move it over there. And what ends up happening here is that you walk down... Oh, actually, hold on. Make that a little... I don't know, it might be a little too thin if we do that. So we might... It's only 100 units. This is probably fine. So what ends up happening, if I can stop interrupting myself for 2 fucking seconds, is you go through something up here and then you walk down here and immediately you're able to like go there. But there's like an entire thing down here with an open space. That is just begging for a collectible or a secret. I don't really have collectibles in the game. Maybe I should. Maybe I should have optional collectibles. Because right now, every time I'm like, oh, I can put something secret down there. The only thing that I can do is I can just like take an experience orb and put it down there. But like when I put an experience orb down somewhere, is that really like that interesting? I feel like we should have other collectibles as well. Maybe. This feels like a good place to hide one of those. And all of this down here is pretty much like good to go, I would say. Then we come back to this area up here. And I kind of want this to be more than just like this, right? So what we had before was just a couple of walls that forced you to like snake back and forth a little bit. And that wasn't really that good, I don't think. So let's think about what else we can do. Didn't I just move this? Wait, what? Did I not move it enough? Apparently not. So let's think about the things that we can do here while we also remove the lights, because we're going to need to relight this entire thing anyway. So might as well get rid of the ones we have now. There is still one light somewhere around here, but I don't really... Oh, there we go. I think that might have been the last one. Nope. There's still one over here. A couple over here, which definitely are like very weirdly placed now. Yeah, okay. So, what are we gonna do? Oh, there's a cinema camera over here that we don't use anymore. Oh, that's not what I wanted to delete. At all. So what are we going to do here? There's a couple of things that we need to fill out. We need to fill out this empty space over here. And we need to fill out this empty space over here. And I am thinking we still do want to place like something like a wall between them. Maybe. But what we'll do with that wall, we'll place the entire thing one block up higher. Just make this like one big wall for now. I'm thinking we want to like go up here then go through an opening in here, and then go through like a little bit of a hallway here and then go back down maybe, but that doesn't really make sense. It will be the other way. So we first go like this, then we go up, then we go like this, and then here we go down, and we go down again, right? So this would be the place where we have like a little hole in the wall. Well, literally, actually. So minus 500 or something like that. Let's say 600. And then this, what's that? That was actually a pretty good guess, doing that at 500. And look, there is this other thing that we can also use. I haven't really used it yet because there doesn't seem to be that much of a use for it. Like things like this block out window. This can technically like function as a hole that we can go through here, right? So we can just, if we copy over this transform, and then rotate it, it's definitely not in the same place, but whatever. This essentially functions as something that can create a hole like that. This is also I don't know that it's worth pulling out an entire other tool for. If I could have also just like duplicated this over and said, hey, just 100 tool. I don't know. So we go through there, and then we honestly can just kind of do this, and then maybe a little less. Because we do need to have a little bit of room to actually go through this staircase here. So long as thing to fill up with actual stuff to do, though. So I don't know what we're going to be doing here. Like, some of this surely has to be some platforming. We can't just make it hit enemies until you get bored, right? The platforming is actually kind of hard to design. Unless it's moving. Which I suppose we could make it something moving. We could do something like this where... let's see. We just move this about 1,000 units away. And then another 500 units away. And then this thing also... Now that we know that it's 1,500 units, we can just say, hey, extraction, whatever place you're at, plus 1,500. Wait, what the fuck? Where did that go? Okay, that's not the direction that I wanted that to go in. Oh, it's because it's the local direction. Yeah, okay, so we cannot actually do that. Never mind. I guess we just do 500 3 times. It works as well. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. No, that's okay. That works. We can deal with that. We'll worry about the fail pits there in a moment. And then I think for these we just will make 1, 2, like 3. Is that too much to jump? That might be too much to jump. It's too much to comfortably jump, I'd say. Oh, that doesn't quite fit. That's annoying. So let's just do 1, 2. I guess what we could do is we could just take this and move it like 1 block to the left. Or the right, depending on your direction, I guess. And just make all of these 100 units wider. That works. At least makes these blocks consistently square, so that's good. And then we can just make this one, for consistency's sake, we'll just add that in there. Now, the only issue with this is that, and that's with platforming challenges in general, is that it is usually like necessarily directional. Unless you have something that automatically puts you back up on the last place that you were like standing safely. Like an actual platforming game sometimes would have. But we don't have a system like that. I'm not going to be programming a system like that because I'm not making a 3D platformer. I'm making a game which sometimes has some platforming in it. Which is very much a different thing. So what we'll do instead is we'll just make this directional. So from this direction to that direction, so from here to the end of this hallway is the direction where you can just platform. If you're coming through this the other way, you can just kind of jump down and climb back up and jump down and climb back up. And that's just the way it'll be. I don't think there's too much of an issue with that. We do need to make sure that you can't cheese that jump. But there'll be a platform going back and forth, so that's probably going to block you anyway. Let's make this 400. I think 400 might be jumpable. It doesn't seem like 400 units, not gonna lie. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 400 units. Never mind. I guess we can make this a little bit shorter as well. Like it doesn't need to be that long. We'll need to test out whether or not this is jumpable. So this is 700, this is... I suppose this can be 600. Oh, not 600. This can be 500. This can be 300. I'm pretty sure 300 units is jumpable for my character. So this is 300, no, 200 jump, and then another 200 jump. I think that is makeable. So let's just copy those over. And move them into approximately the right place. Did I move them into the exact right place? I did. Holy hell. That is amazing. And then I guess for this, what we will make is just like 50 units tall. Let's do 25 units tall, and then we'll... Mm, 300 is actually pretty good for that, and then we'll just make this maybe 300 as well. Just make it square. And exactly in the middle here. I think that's fair enough. And we'll just immediately convert this to a static mesh. So if I just go there and merge actor, it just makes it into a static mesh actor. Which is... Wait, it should do that. It doesn't because, okay, hold on. Replace source actor. There we go, it's a static mesh actor now. That has the single most fucked up orientation in the world. That's not great. I guess it also bakes the rotation of these things. Huh. Let's try to bake it like this and then reapply the rotation afterwards. It's a little bit of a wacky workaround, but if it works, it works. I'll be happy with it. So now I can just merge, right? It'll replace actor. Will I do that? Yes. Okay, and then we can just place that back, and there we go. It's lined up properly. It's a little bit of a hacky thing to do, but okay, now I do need to make sure that these are like at the same place, which is they should just be 1500 units apart actually. But that's let's just do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why is that not just 1500 units? That's confusing. I guess it's fine, but it's confusing. I think we're at about the same rate now. So let's... Hello, Chaos Machines. So let's go into levels, purple, level sequences. This will be... blueprint? No, where is it? It's in cinematics, even though I'm not doing anything cinematic with it, but who cares? Stair, step, floating platforms. Now we can actually just put that into the level here as well. We'll get both of these. Pull them in. And this is fine to do it this way, by the way, because I can just go in and replace the static mesh. I will know the dimensions of the static mesh, and I can just like replace them easily afterward, and they'll still have the same motion. So that should be fine. Let's say that it takes like 2.5 seconds for both of them to move to their respective destination locations, which will be something like there. And then another 2.5. Oh, it's actually 150 frames perfectly. You can't copy multiple keyframes at a time. When you select a keyframe, it jumps to that position in time. It's not ideal. Well, I don't know if it's not ideal. It's just not what I'm used to. Like, it's not what After Effects works like. What level is this supposed to be? This is honestly just kind of a connecting room, just like a filler room that I don't necessarily have a ton of IDs for, but I'm just like trying to fill with some interesting, engaging stuff. So there's this. I guess what we need to do though would be going into the animation mode. There is a view here that will just allow you to like solo properties, I believe. There we go. So this allows you to easily solo properties. I learned about this really quite recently, and it's really quite cool. It doesn't really work as well if you do two of them at the same time, though. I think it was like W and Control 3 or something, or 3 and Control W. There we go. Let's move this handle all the way over there. Let's move this handle all the way over there. And then We'll do the same for these. We'll just need to do the same thing for the Y position. So let's do 3 Control W, and then hopefully pulling these to roughly the same position will be good enough. There should be a way to just animate these in their local position as well, which would probably fix this. Having to be done in like 2 directions, because this is still has a bit of a curve to it, doesn't it? Yeah, that's not great. Let's like Control Z to fuck through this. Spaces. Okay, hold on. What we'll do is I will like delete this one and just move this again. Can I just... I think it's this. I think that's where we're supposed to be, right? Something like that, yeah. I'm not entirely sure how like these different spaces work. I wish I can just like animate them in their local space. Does anybody know how that works? Because I sure as hell don't. Local transform in each local space? What does that even mean? Do I have to add this as something like separate? Like we have a transform track here. But we already have that. Can I right click on this and make it local space? Added section. Who knows? Maybe. Let's see if Google has anything to say about this. Unreal sequencer animate position in local space. So just posting for anyone over the weekend, I had a bright moment. What I thought of didn't work, but did work. Just check the quaternion interpolation. This solved my problem. Why would that, like, what does that have to do with literally anything? But there was a thing here, I think, in the... Where was it, actually? That is a fantastic question. I did see it a moment ago. Was it in here? Nope. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. Open your look. Oh, hold on. Open your location. You should have 3 individual curves. You have a keyframe and an axis you don't want to change, X or Y. Yeah, I know that you have 3 individual curves. Also, I accidentally made these things. But the issue is that I want this thing to just move back and forward over its local x-axis. But because this thing itself is rotated, when it changes position, you can see it changes position in both X and Y. And if I change anything about the... this is really confusing because it is not all the way through. When I change those curves, I would need to change both of those curves to have the exact same curvature. And that's just like never going to happen. So what I want to do is I want this to be driven by information for its local transform, not its global position. Toggle the location drop down. Is it in there? I don't know, man. That none of this seems to like hint at any of that. There was this guy who said like something about, oh here, use quaternion interpolation. Maybe, let's see. I mean, it is to do with rotation, I suppose, so it would actually kind of make sense if... Yeah, no, it still does both. I only wanted to be driven by this value, and I want this value to effectively be like 0. But maybe what I need to do is I need to animate the components and not the actor as a whole. That's actually a really good idea. So transform. Like if I do this, will this allow me to do what I want to do? Like transform location. I'm assuming that this is, yes, okay. I don't think that's doing it, is it? Still 2 values. Still 2 values. Okay. Oh, but I guess this will now maybe work. I don't know what this spaces thing is and why it doesn't seem to do anything. Okay, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break because I really need to use the bathroom. And then we'll try to figure this out. We're going to figure this out at some point, but I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because surely other people have run into this and figured this out. So yeah, that's not the answer to my question. Question pretty simple. Is it possible to create a level sequence that can be local to a level sequence actor? Totally agree. Facing the same problem. All transforms are in world space. It makes the reuse of the sequence kind of limited, don't you think? Oh, this is kind of nice. I just read something that might solve the issue. So what we can do is if we like just remove these keyframes real quick. Apparently, if you parent these objects to the sequence player, what did we call the sequence again? Like platform something? Yes. I guess we can just attach through right click here or right click there. Attach to that. So now these are both attached to this, and that should make them local to that. It doesn't much look like it. Oh, but now it is. Hold on. No, it seems like it actually is. Still updating both of those values, but it seems like the numbers are a lot smaller. So the issue probably is that this thing is rotated. So let's... We're going to figure this out. It's actually really nice that you can do that. Oh no, this thing doesn't have any rotation. So I guess the idea then would be that we... Huh. Like, this is effectively, like, on a 90-degree angle with this now, right? It's kind of hard to see. There's a little bit of swaying left and right. That doesn't matter too much. So just... Let's try this again. Yeah, there's like 1 unit per 100 that it sways left and right. But aside from that, it is now effectively in local space to this thing. It's kind of weird that it works that way, but I guess that's fine. So now, hold on. In theory, if we just like remove, yeah, if we move that, that could also be quite interesting and powerful in some ways. Maybe at some point. So I guess we don't need to move the specific static mesh object. We can just add a normal transform track for the actor as a whole. And again, 75 units in the... Where the fuck did they go? Why are they all the way out here? Is it because they're set to 000? No. Oh, that's the default location for them. Okay, hold on. Let's make sure that that does not happen. Real quick. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, that's quite interesting, but also a little clunky. If that's the way you're supposed to do it, which I'm... Yeah, so you see, that is... Yeah, I don't love that. But it might also be because if we attach them now and then set the keyframes for them, that seems to be a little bit better. Fuck you! Okay, both of them are here now. Might be easier to just make them move back and forth over a spline at this point. But I also got something to prove, so... They're both all the way back over there. Let's do them one at a time. I think that is maybe part of the issue, is that I'm trying to do both at once. So, like, it's updating them both. Also, it's doing this for the static mesh component. Ah, that's fine. Other one is still there. All right. It's not 100% ideal, I'll be the first to admit. But it is an interesting little, like, gimmick of how this works. Like, I quite like the idea, just not fully the, like, janky execution. So if I just now say, for instance, hey, we only really like change the Y value in this case, right? So if I just say, hey, the X value, it's only like a handful of units. What the fuck? Oh, that's now all the way over there. Okay, never mind. I guess we just remove this. Like, if we do that, it's pretty much straight. Can I now remove this one? Nope. Because it still goes, maybe I can just do this and then... Oh, no, it does. Okay, sure. I don't know that this is a fantastic solution because it's a little buggy. It's a little buggy because it's not gonna just, yep, that's what I thought it would. But now it doesn't. So yeah, okay. But they both just move back and forth. Assumedly, if I remove everything, that's not a... Yeah, no, never mind. Surely the rotation and the scale don't... Oh... It's not really important to get rid of these other little bits, I know. But at this point, like, if I remove them and then... You know what, fuck it. I don't care enough about this. It's this Y value that we're looking at, right? So sequence curve, yeah. So it's just this that I need to worry about now. That's gonna make it so much fucking smoother. So pull that over there, pull that over there. It's a little strong in the middle there as far as movement goes, but it makes it more easily, like, jumpable, I think. I wish you could just copy over tangents, can you? I mean, you can copy over the value as a whole, but that's not really... That's not really like the vibe I'm going for, if I'm being honest with you. So I guess we just... kind of manually do it this way and match them close enough. Ooh, but that's kind of neat that we can like do it this way, right? You know, I think that's good enough. We're wasting a lot of time otherwise on this fairly inconsequential thing. Just set this up to autoplay and loop, like autoplay, and we just loop infinitely. Where the fuck did these things go? Oh my god! Seriously? You know what? No. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with any of that shit. We're not doing that. It's just going to be stiff movement for these platforms, and it's going to be fucking Unreal's fault. I'm not doing any of that shit. Fuck everything about that. Just adding a simple fucking transform track for both, and we're just going to leave it at that. Maybe at some point in the future I will care enough to go back and change it. But I sure as hell don't right now. So just make this effectively linear. It's not quite linear. We could maybe just give it some... We can just give us like some default different curves. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 would be yeah, I think just normal auto kind of is the best we can get. Because we have to worry about both the X and the Y, and that's kind of the issue. Then again, if we did this, surely that these would now like move at the same rate, so that would make them still like move. Surely that's how that works, right? I don't even know which one of the two. I think it's this one. Surely this now just still goes entirely straight. It's just with... Okay, so that kind of does work, doing it that way. So, probably should have thought about that a little earlier. Not gonna lie. It's a pretty obvious solution. Yeah, I feel kind of stupid that I didn't do that. No. Oh well. You just straight up do not move, or what's up with you? That's because of the Z thing. No, you straight up just do not move. Wait, does the Z... Y and X? Okay, sure. I don't really care if I can see all this, although it would be nice if I could. I guess we want a normalized view. There we go. Alright, we managed to figure it out in the end. Still not exactly in the way that I would have liked. That is, like, just a little bit more intuitive. But we found a workaround, and it seems like that workaround will be a lot smoother to work with. We might slow down this entire thing, but we can just do that in the sequence player itself. So that's honestly fine. So let's quit out of this and just say, hey, we play this at like 75% the speed. Which only leaves us at the moment with maybe something to put in here and a way to get up there in the first place, which is not entirely like irrelevant. And I think for these, having some enemies just there is probably fine. Like if we just have a fairly narrow walkway all the way like across. Just kind of placing things down and going with the flow of things. And just throwing in some enemies there, that might be enough. This little stretch is a little awkward now, though, isn't it? Oh well, we can at least get up there now, so let's save our progress here and actually play through a little bit. It's kind of funny how putting down those actual like block out bits is so quick that the amount of time we spend just struggling and juggling around with the sequencer stuff is comparatively so much longer. Oh, hello. You like to kill me? I'm gonna go. Bye. Now you're unloaded. You don't exist anymore. They try to hit me, I just make you poof out of existence. That's the deal we're gonna go with. If you don't like it, you can go exist in another game. Please don't. I kind of need you to be in my game. Why are you guys loaded by default? I guess my changes to this level didn't stick after it crashed. Oh well. Yeah, again, so this definitely also needs a little bit of work to actually put some content in there. And this room is still orange. It's gonna be purple. Don't worry, it's gonna be purple at some point, but for now it'll be orange. It's pretty, like, boring. Something needs to happen, at least, like, up here. I might actually put up a little bit of a wall here so that you don't knock off enemies as easily. And enemies you put in here are going to be like a little bit more close quarters, which makes them a little bit more dangerous. This doesn't autoplay. Wait, what? Why does that... What the hell? Why does it throw me in that direction? Is it? Oh, I think what might be happening is that these are set to static. No, they're movable. The thing just doesn't autoplay. I don't know why that throws me backward then. That's worrying. Supremely worrying, as a matter of fact. Yeah, so let's put down a bit of a wall. It can be as easy as just like pulling this up and then it probably doesn't actually need to even be a full wall, to be honest with you. Like a little half wall like this is probably enough. Still makes it so that you can see up here from down here, right? That's kind of so that you know where you're going. You know what actually might be nice to do here? Is to make something to traverse here as well. And then what we could do is we could move this over. I just got some ideas. Just let me try them out real quick. If we just make this into a normal wall as well. And then make this into a little bit of a floor. It still creates the same kind of like zigzag pattern that I had in the original version here. But a little bit more dynamically. So the idea would be that I don't even know like what even is half of this stuff. Okay. So surely this goes up those 2 blocks again, right? Yeah, I think it does. So we don't do that there, but what we do instead is we make you like actually go through this a little bit more. And then this has to become like a jump you make. Which also means that if you knock this enemy off of here after all, it's going to be a bit more of a pain to get back up because you need to walk that extra little bit. So that's an incentive for you to like straight up just not do that, please. So I think that would be an improvement. So I think actually what ended up happening is that I pulled this up too much instead of having this one pulled down. Yes, that's definitely what happened. Okay. This will be interesting. FPS game, maybe? No. It's not an FPS game? Like, not even a little bit? Yeah, so let's pull this back a little more. I think we can make that jump, probably. Let's see if I can. I mean, I guess these blocks, like I said earlier in the stream, these blocks are kind of reminiscent of the way a lot of unfinished Team Fortress 2 maps looked, at least back in the day. I don't know what they look like now. I haven't played that game in ages. So in that regard, I can kind of see where you're coming from. But that's just block out tools, man. It's just what they look like. It's got some platforming elements, but I wouldn't, by any stretch of the imagination, call it a platforming game because there's like not enough platforming mechanics. But I don't know, platforming is more of a tool in this particular case than a genre. There's plenty of games that are actually like full on platforming is the genre of the fuck, mate. It's the genre of the game. That's also not really what's going on here. There's more of a hack and slash RPG. But platforming will be an element because it helps shake things up. Okay, so you move over here, which, yeah, this feels like there could be a little bit more happening here. And here as well, maybe. But then jumping up this and this, and okay, so that jump is makeable. Like, at least something interesting happens there. And then you come over here and these platforms. Okay, so please don't, like, fucking yeet me off again. Okay, so now they don't do that anymore. And, like, coming up from here, like, this jump is not makeable, right? It's not. It's quite important to test this kind of thing. Is this jump makeable like that? It's close, but not quite. So those jumps are actually, like, pretty much spot on. You do need to at least land on the platform, and then you can immediately jump over again. It's not about being, like, a very tight platforming game. Now we can just come down here and just kind of fall off. It's mostly just a staircase to be able to get back up, and then we get to this, which is actually ridiculously easy compared to everything else, probably. But these things are here for a reason. There's some scripting stuff. That's okay. I think the block out phase of this is pretty good. There's still, again, something that needs to happen here. I don't want to just throw down yet another wall here and make you, like, U-turn up and then U-turn up here and then U-turn up through here. That seems a little... Seems like it might be a little much to do it that way. I'm definitely thinking that we need something here still, though. I'm just not entirely sure what. They could honestly just make this room a bit smaller and then, like, make it come in from over here. We did that. That would work a little bit better, wouldn't it? I think it would. I guess that's what we're going to be doing. Oh, and also the ceiling needs to move along as well. And then we can just pull this back a little bit. Oh, that's annoying that that works like that. Probably should have just rotated it to begin with, though. This kind of flies in the face of my whole shtick, which I always say that I want these levels to line up in like a spatial way that makes sense. Well, I think having the levels like be tight and filled properly is more important, first and foremost. And it doesn't come down to like super tight connectivity, as long as they have the general shape of things and the general like directionality that goes with them. So if we just open up the level that be before this, that's I think this hallway, right? Like we ended here, and instead of teleporting us a little to the right, it's now teleporting us a little more to the left. I think that's fine. And it does make this entire thing just like more of a tight, cohesive thing. So it's probably pretty good. That said, let's close all these things down. And just make sure that all these block out things are purple, because I'll be damned, even though I'm not making art for this, I do still want this to be the proper color. Wait, does it also change the color of... No, it doesn't. I was going to say, it does also change the color of the top when you change the actual color, but it doesn't seem like it does. Okay. So even though we eliminated a bunch of dead space there, we still need to fill up the dead space that we have. And I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do that. The very first thing that comes to mind here, which might actually be kind of an issue. We can make that work. The very first thing that comes to mind here would be something kind of like this, right? Like Mario 64-ish almost. Where we like 500 units or something like that. It's a little bit less. Or a little bit more. We just do this and then make the block. Make it go that way. We just have blocks that like push. Just make sure that these blocks are the proper size for everything. Oh my god, they're definitely not. What the hell is going on with any of this? Oh, because of these steps are... yeah. Okay, that's a little annoying. But nothing that we can't fix, right? Oh, that's... We just line them up a little more like this. A little... Oh, that's the wrong one. A little bit more like this. And then... Pull this down a little like that. Okay. ID being... Oh, this definitely does need to be pulled through like a lot more though. Something like that. So the idea being is that we would have these blocks that would kind of like do this, right? A very Mario-ish kind of movement. But obviously the issue is if they are all the way back here, they kind of clip into this part of the level. So if you want to do that, we would need to make a trigger box like up here, where the moment we can't see this anymore, they all snap to their like extended location, so that by the time we get down here, you don't see them anymore. Which is doable. That's doable. I guess let's just do that. Yeah, why not? We can do that. Just make this again, we're going to need to figure out some kind of like context reason for that being the case, because like what the hell even is any of this, and why does it do anything like this? It's really annoying that when you bake these things, they lose their rotation. So what you need to do is you need to do that and then merge and then reapply the rotation for them. Which they have a weird rotation anyway because I am bad. Do we want to have one on every single one or just alternating? I'm thinking alternating ones and then like not have one in the first. Hold on. Let me cook. Like not have one in the first. Then alternate, and then the last two we have two. So that you can't like hang around too much. But this one obviously would need to have a differently sized one. So I guess I think if you go into modeling mode, what you can do is you can like make a copied instance. Somewhere in here, I think. So that it doesn't also add those other instances. Is the idea. I think maybe with duplicate. And if I now add a polygroup with this, it should not allow me to... Why does it... Oh, it doesn't have any polygroups assigned, I guess. Sure, let's just plain cut instead. That kind of works. Just need to fill that hole up now. But filling a hole is not that difficult. There's just a thing for that in the mesh, right? Yeah, fill holes. Maybe it doesn't quite work like that. Why not? Oh, hold on. I'm guessing that the where was it? The model. The plane cut probably has a thing. Still cut hole, yeah, but it doesn't do that though. It doesn't do that. Huh. You know what? It'll be easier to just paint this polygroup. Paint polygroups. That's a polygroup now. Congratulations. Polygroup added. Oh. Oh, because they're not connected faces. Holy hell, that is... Wow. Can I, like, fix that up with... I don't know that I can fix that up with anything. To be entirely fair with you, I don't think I can. So, the way we'll just fix this is in a much more sensible way. Okay, we probably want the pivot point for this to also be in the bottom right corner there. But we can change that. We have a thing to change pivot points. I think it is in mesh. In model. In X form. That would make sense. Add a pivot point. There we go. 100 units is probably too much, right? Yeah, so these things are 50 by 50 maybe, or 100 by 100. Yes, so if we just do 50 and then another 50, that should put it exactly in the corner. And from there, we just polygroup at it and pull this to be the proper size. It's a little rough, but it'll do. Okay. Back into level sequences and making yet another one. I'm just going to copy one over because it's quicker than going through the menu. One for pushers. Just put that over here. Open level sequence, and we'll pull those 3 things in. And they'll be like alternating. Oh, of course, we do need to remove these 2. And they'll then be like alternating, right? So we outliner, pull these in. Let's say they take a second and a half to move. Then stay in that place for half a second. Another 45 frames to move again. And then they stay in that place for half a second. It's another 15 frames, right? That's what we do. So it would be 120 in total. And again, we can tweak the timing in the actual playback speed instead. So let's see. Oh yeah, these ones also probably could do with being a little shorter. But we can change those meshes in a moment. For now, we'll just stick with what we have here. So goes over there. And at the same time, these go back here. Holy hell, that's not what I wanted to select. Keep that one down there. Keep this one going there. No. Hello? It's the wrong one, that's why. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And then this one goes back there. You can't override keyframes like that in Unreal, because why would you? Wait, what? It's really confusing that these are the wrong way around. Let's see what this looks like. So they do that, stay, do that. Fucking hell. And then it stays, right? So 1, 2, 1, to... Okay. That's the basic gist of it anyway. So let's stick with that for the time being. Again, there is little to no contextual reason for these things to be here at the moment. Like, what would these do in like underground catacomb? This is nothing. This is just nothing. Anyway, with that said, I think I'm just going to pull a modeling and then just duplicate this thing. I'm not going to be using this because I think it'll be the easiest way to do this. So we duplicate. Don't know why that would... What? This worked before, didn't it? Yeah. Where does it... No, it's none of these. Oh, I have a lot of blockout boxes. Oh, that thing is still parented to that. That's surely not a bad thing. Oh, I guess what we do is we like move this over. Move it down a little bit. Might be a bit too on edge, but we'll see. And then we duplicate this. It doesn't actually make a duplicate. It just makes this reference a new mesh asset, I think. I think that's what that does. If that's not what that does, we'll find out in a moment. So box, delete this, make it this, delete this, make it that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that does. Okay, I'm thinking we were correct in that. Yeah, probably could do with some minor changes, but now that those are both referencing the same like asset, we can probably fairly easily just like pull this in a little bit and pull it out a little here, and then try to make these like almost level to each other. Oh, actually, wouldn't it be fun if... No, we can't do that. I was going to say, wouldn't it be fun if we then need to use the same blocks to platform over? But, like, we very much cannot do that. Well, we could do that in here, but I'm not gonna. Okay, so this will autoplay and loop indefinitely. And then we need to open up the level blueprint for this. This is 1.4. So we delete all of this shit. XP picked up. We will get back to that at some point, I'm sure. There we go. Clean that up. And then we'll put down a trigger volume here. Or a trigger box. Same difference. Can be pretty like roughly placed. That doesn't matter that much. Because all we need to do is... Actually, we'll probably need 2 of them, so I've got a better idea. Let's move this one over here. So when we go through this one, it will activate them. We don't need to create a reference. We just want to call collision. Other actor is get player character. And that will make this one play sequence. Or do we have play looping? Play looping. Number of loops. -1 is infinite looping. There we go. And then we'll make another one, which will make it stop. Wait, actually, this one is supposed to make it stop. That other one is supposed to make it play. We'll get back to that in a moment. Yeah, so at that point, it shouldn't be possible to trigger this and go back without triggering this. That's the most important bit. So this is the one that we're actually looking for. So like other actor. And this one then we still check the character. Branch, just to be sure. Nothing else should ever be overlapping with that, but can't be too safe, right? And then stop sequence player. And the stop needs to... Okay, man, late. I'm still going to be working on this stuff for a little while longer, so you're a little late, but you're not too late. Okay, so that'll stop it, right? So we now just need to make sure that when this thing stops, it resets things to their... where do I set that again? Restore states. Might need to do that in the sequence itself. Let's just see. I think when it stops, it will automatically restore them to like their state when they're not in a sequence. But I've never actually tried that out with this method, so I guess we'll figure it out. Again, this is highly cheesable. But maybe I just need to make that room a little bit taller and we'll be good to go, but Oh, I do suppose actually there's one more scenario in which you can enter that room, which would be a slight issue. That is, if you enter the room through the other door, you don't actually end up... I myself designed that attack, and I'm so bad at avoiding it. So if you enter through the other door, the cutscene will start playing, or the animation will start playing, which obviously is not exactly what we want. So we'll... Oh, that's close. Can we stand on that edge? We cannot. Great. This thing just doesn't fucking move? Okay. Sure, I guess. Something to look into in a moment. Highly confused as to why that's actually not slipping through, because definitely... Oh, no, it's not. Because it definitely should be, but that's different whole lot. Getting confused about my own levels. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, so now it should stop those things, right? So if I just detach from my character real quick. Definitely did not stop them, first and foremost. Why is that? That is something to look into. Did I might have just hooked him up the wrong way around. This might have stopped it. And it does reset them back to that. Okay. Oh no, that's actually the perfect way around. That's how it should work. I was just confusing myself there. So now it's stopped. And if I go back through, with them being stopped already, that should not have done anything, right? That didn't do anything. That's good. I might be overcomplicating this a little bit. But now when I enter this trigger box, they are running again. So when I come back here, it seems like they are still running. Seems like they never stopped. And when I go through the area downstairs, they won't be just like clipping into there as well. This is the kind of like quote unquote impossible space stuff that video games can do like very fun stuff with. Because you would never know that literally on the other side of this wall is that like pusher platforming challenge, right? Because at least for this one, and partly for this one, you would 1000% see these things coming through. There are only a handful of Unreal units, like 100 Unreal units away from clipping through this wall now. This one, however, just doesn't seem to want... Oh, because it's set to static. That's why, okay. Let's fix that. Why would it by default be set to static? They're all set to static, though. Huh? I guess it kind of makes sense. No, it doesn't. Never mind. Let's try again. Okay, so and then the other one would be entering through this door would also immediately have to make them stop, right? So, like this makes them stop. So if we just copy this over, and then I would just need to go down more. I guess technically this would count as an overlap event, which would just run immediately when you enter this area. It'll work. I don't know if it'll work. We'll have to check in a moment. But first, I want to double, triple, quadruple check that everything is in this sequence. Why is this box... Wait, what? Don't know why that happened, but I think that fixes it, right? Actually, not quite. That's really weird. But we can just move it out, so that's not that big a deal. Oh, it has two transform tracks as well. That makes it even worse. Why does it not come out until like... Where the fuck does it go? Go that far back? Now it goes way too far back. Is it also transforming at scale? No, it's just going way too far back. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but it seems like... That'll fix it. Maybe, hopefully. Don't break again, please. Let's enter through Central Hub. I know it's a little bit of a walk, but it's the best I can do for now. I suppose I could set up a save point right next to the entry door for that area, just for like testing purposes, to make things a little bit easier. But knowing me, I'm going to either forget to remove the save point, I'm going to remove the save point and then try to load in from it and be confused as to why it doesn't work. Because my level and save game loading stuff relies on there being a save point in the level that it loads. Otherwise, it's just going to make you fall into the void endlessly. Which, I don't know, man. I don't think we should be falling into the void endlessly. That doesn't sound like a good time at all. Anyhow, this is riveting content. Definitely not empty and stale and boring. Okay. Everything seems to move properly here now. So that's nice. That's good. Oh, okay. There's some action going on there. There's a little bit of an edge. At least you need to pay some sort of attention to this. Something needs to happen here as well. This is also boring. I like that jump though. That makes me happy. I'm gonna put like 1 or 2 enemies in here. And that should have stopped the animations. So now that I go through here, they shouldn't be pushing through a wall. And they're not. Fantastic. Oh, and that one doesn't do anything yet. So actually, if I go through here now, and I go back through, they will be pushing through the wall. But that's an easy fix. And actually something that I can much more easily test as well. So we can just add in a trigger box for this as well. Not a reference, don't need a reference, need the event. Fucking copy this over only once. And then if that's true, we just do that as well. Load game. So this one I can do a little more easily because I have a save point down here, but it's actually, that save point is now down there. I moved that save point to be at the bottom part of this level, so it's going to take a moment to walk back up, but probably less time than it would be through that hallway. Man, I hate staircases in games. I don't know which door it is. I guess we'll figure it out by going through them one at a time. Oh, it's this one, and immediately you can see that it does, in fact, work. Now let's go through it backwards just to see if it actually also does trigger everything else properly. It should, but you never know. Video games are weird sometimes, so let's go through. Also just to see how this feels like to walk through backwards. That's fantastic timing. And of course, if we fall down here, like the backwards route, it's just kind of like works that way. And these work now. So we did a little bit of video game magic. Cool. I'm actually quite happy with what we've been putting down here. So let's add in a nav mesh. Nav mesh. Where is it? Oh, bounce volume. Ugh. I'm just that dumb. Oh, everything here already has a nav mesh. Okay. Forgot that I did that. But cool. So I guess we just do a nav mesh modifier volume up here so that they don't walk there. Right. So just like that, and then like pull along like that. I guess it means there won't be a nav mesh down here, so if they get stuck there, but they'll get pushed off anyway if they manage to get stuck down there, so that's fine. No nav meshes on my pushing blocks. Can I just disable these things? Can have an affect navigation? Yeah. You know, instead of using these, probably should just do that. Because that will maybe... Yeah, that'll actually create nav meshes down there as well. Well, if they end up down there, but they shouldn't. And we'll have like a teeny tiny bit of nav mesh here, which will be enough to place some enemies down. So let's do that. Ghosts. So the one thing that's annoying about the collision that I'm using is that it puts all the enemies always on the roof. It's just not ideal. Actually, I have a better idea. Let's make them Reapers. Because... I gotta figure out if I can make it, like, ignore the overlap thing. When it spawns. So if I just, like, put down in the little hallway 2 Reapers. The thing with Reapers is if they have a too much of a distance to the player, they will start teleporting to the player. So you can't very well just run past these. I'll also just put down a normal ghost. So even if you actually push these off the edge, they'll likely teleport back up to you pretty quickly as well. Really gotta figure that the fuck out, because it's really annoying that it does that. And then for this one specifically, actually for all of them, let's make the radius a little bit smaller. So that will be the radius. Yeah, so let's make this like 500 for all of them. I guess you can technically... Ooh, actually... don't want to make them too small either, right? I guess if you accidentally spawn them by jumping through here, that's fine. It's not actually a huge deal. Something about the scaling of this one still off? Actually, should save my progress every now and then. This one still... Oh, this one's still scaled at 60%. Well, we can't be having none of that. Well, it's a little bit too big now. So let's... I don't know, like 9? This is going to make some of my other instances of this guy clip through the world, because sometimes it just kind of does that for some reason. I don't really know why. Just, again, it just kind of does. So let's just put in a new one for this. And we'll worry about the rest of them some other time. I think we said this to 350. Yeah. I mean, on the way back, they're going to be significantly less intimidating. But this is one of those rooms that, like, you should be able to navigate it through both ways, but it's also clearly designed, right, to be like an obstacle in one direction and just kind of be there in the other direction. Because if you come through this way, like the platforming here is a fucking joke. And you can just kind of jump over this and jump down these. So there's like actually no challenge here. So that's fine. All of these need to like not start active though. Which I think start active. Activate. Through overlap, yes. So, how's everybody been doing? Any like fun progress on your guys' own project? Anybody else joined the GMTK game jam and like did better than me? To be fair, I did not join, like the title of my video suggests, I didn't join to make something good. I joined to practice with the exact thing that I'm doing right now, which is putting together actual levels. Why are those already there? Because I haven't set up the values for them yet. I still need to do that. Okay, cool. But I know some people in the Discord either joined or wanted to join. And I haven't really played that many games from the jam, which is too bad. Because the video that that Mark Brown made showcasing the like top 20, or his favorite 20 rather, was some really cool stuff in there. So some of those are definitely like, I actually got, I got got by my own trap. My level design is working. Trying to learn Godot. Depending on how far along with like learning you are, a game jam can either be the worst or the best idea ever. When I tried out playing with Unity a little bit, I definitely went into doing a game jam with it way too fucking soon. So, but it also made me like learn a lot, like very, very quickly. Yeah, so now that guy teleported away and it's going to do exactly that. It's gonna fuck me over real bad. He can't actually move from there, so I've actually got him stuck. Well, until he teleports again. Same thing for him. Like, he just straight up cannot move until he decides to teleport again, which they like do once every... I think they've got a 50% chance to teleport every 15 seconds. Okay. Well, those enemies are actually doing their job quite well because they're making this very difficult since I didn't take care of them. So that's the exact thing that they're supposed to be doing. It's also kind of a cheat code for level design having an enemy like this, to be fair. The other one should be teleporting toward me as well at some point, right? Maybe not. This suddenly seems like very tame and very easy. But yeah, I think that works pretty well. The only things at this point here where I'm like, still nothing much is happening is this first little like walk up, this lead up to there. But it doesn't need to be like constant action, right? Just having a little bit of empty space, especially when there's going to be a little bit of more art here, can be nice. And then like this little walk up here probably should have something going for it. But I don't know what. Because I'm not going to do another set of pushes there. That would be a little much. But I guess what we can do here is I can put down some flying like golems. Which obviously do that fucking thing again, because they all do, always. And you know what? Actually, for like potential speedrunning strats, there might be something to the idea that you can cheese your way up here through attacking these enemies. So that would actually be kind of interesting to put it there for that reason. I'm a firm believer of you shouldn't remove every exploit in your game, because some exploits can actually be straight up just quite fun. You did a nice job with the AI logic. Thanks. It's a lot of these are pretty like straightforward in their AI, but I for the most part do think that they're doing pretty well. Let's do another load game. I really, really, really just need to put down a save point next to that level if I'm going to be playtesting it. Or just playtest that level by itself, which I think is a thing that I just can do. It might not be able to kill the enemies, because I think killing enemies involves a function in the game mode. But I can just set the game mode for that level itself to the proper one, I guess. Yeah, probably should do that. But yeah, those Reaper enemies that can just like teleport in front of you, those are unique to this like purple dungeon. So they're a little bit of a cheat code as far as game design goes, because I can just throw them down somewhere and be like, hey, if you don't take care of them, they're gonna bother you. And I can't really do that mechanic with like literally every dungeon, I don't think. To a certain extent I can, I guess. I don't think the logic for these guys really works. Oh no, it does. So the idea that I had is, I don't think that's cheesable, but at least they... Okay, so they tend to move downward in this map, because when they patrol away, they just pick a random location to patrol to. And whenever they are down lower, they have a hard time getting back up, because their like three-dimensional navigation actually sucks. So that's a bit of a downside to this entire thing, because once they are down there, I think this guy is just infinitely trying to get to where he's supposed to be going, which locks their AI. Until I hit him, at which point his AI should reset. Then again, he's going to try to get up to a place where he just cannot get to at some point. So I think that these guys might not entirely be... Wait, it's not even pushing him. It's just clipping through him. Yeah, maybe these guys don't really interact with this particular level very well, because, again, mostly because their AI navigation sucks, because I made it. So that's maybe not the best way to do this. What other enemies do I have? Let's check blueprint classes. Don't have that many other ones, I don't think. I guess I've got these spiders and these shamans. I guess I could put down like a spider or two, but the spiders are also a little janky. And of course it does that. So I think the general rule of thumb is going to be anything that looks mechanical is going to always start active, and anything that looks supernatural is going to be like spawning in. I think that's the general idea of what I'm going to be doing with these. But this will give you something to do on that little stretch, at least. And then here... I guess you can just have a little bit of a moment to yourself. I do wonder how well those spiders will do in tracking you to that. Oh, that's... No, don't want to play through the entire game just to test that. That would take a while. Well, not that much, actually, but it'll... It'll take a couple of minutes to get there. Just like it takes a little moments to go through all this. I think next week we're going to start off by filling out the rest of this hallway on stream. Or maybe I'll just do the rest of this hallway in my own time over the weekend. I do need to get a move on. I want to like get to a point where I can supply this to some people to test it, because I've been working toward that for a while now, and I actually am starting to feel kind of good about some of these things. Like the combat actually feels snappy and good now, and are you just like straight up not gonna like follow me? Hello? Straight up just not gonna follow me, are you? That fucker does. Their AI is so fucked. Hold on. We need to check out what the hell is even going on with. Wait, is it because they're not allowed to walk there? That definitely seems to be the case. Why is that the case? Is it to do with these things? Hold on. It probably is. No, because they shouldn't ever be able to affect navigation. Why is that bit of the nav mesh red? Oh, also these guys will show up. I already forgot about that. I placed them there myself. I mean, spiders are also not a great model for... Oh, fucking... I guess my own game design is working because it's working on me, which might mean that it is unreasonably annoying, or that I'm doing a good job. And yeah, they're clipping through the walls and stuff. I'm still trying to figure out a good way to prevent that. Okay, this one is just literally inside the wall. That's a new one. That's definitely a new one. Anyway, he's dead. The block should have stopped moving now. For some reason, this bit doesn't have a nav mesh, but why is this... Why is that bit of the nav mesh red? And why is this dude walking on it anyway? Right? What? What do you mean can't find matching actors? Hello? Oh, okay, we've got one. Sure. So it's waiting. And it just moves to patrol location. Patrol location is just a random location for these guys, right? So... what they should do is they should go to the last known location of the player. Probably. I don't know why the nav mesh goes like all red there. Unreal part of nav mesh red. But then... Can these affect the nerve mesh? I don't think... The entire nav mesh up here is also red. Which is probably why this guy... No, he is moving. So, the nav mesh is red. Hold on, let me just refresh real quick. No, it definitely is still red. Why is it red? If I just cancel out of this, is it also red in those places? No, it's entirely green now. Sure. If it works, that's the most important bit, I guess. Maybe? Anyway, those spiders are just kind of messed with their AI anyway. Like, their AI doesn't work half the time for some reason. I just don't know why. I haven't really looked into it yet. I guess that's one of them. Probably should only display those things when you have direct line of sight to them. Because it's a little weird to have that, right? So just do a line tracer and see if it doesn't like hit anything. Okay, if we just... It's red again. Why is it red? Why does it do this? I don't understand, but the weird part is it is red, but they are moving across it. At least this guy is. I don't know what the fuck he is up to. Well, they're both moving across it, so that's fine. Oh, I fell down. Wait, does this not push me? This one doesn't push me. Why doesn't this one push me? Explains what... now it pushes me. It's just inconsistent in pushing me, apparently. Okay. Standing on it. And oh my god. Okay, so... That's also a thing, apparently. It just goes straight through me sometimes. Why does it just go straight through me? It's supposed to block all. It's world dynamic itself. It has collision enabled. Threshold sensitivity, referring to it going through me like that. What I'm guessing is happening is like a very, very old issue with collision detection, where it, at no points, its edges overlap with my collision box. It's just on one side of me, and then the next frame it's on the other side of me. Which would be fixed by just making this slower. So let's set this to like half the time. Because if I need to start like coding in it's like applying a force away to anything that it's overlapping with or whatever stuff to fix that. I did that for the spider's shield attack, and I don't think the spider even has a shield attack anymore because it's just like janky and didn't work very well. Yeah, the path, I've seen it set to real sensitive on inclines. Just noob firing donuts at least. Yeah, I don't know. It might be to do with the fact that I'm using an animation sequence to drive it. Like if I was just going back and forth over a distance through like blueprint with set location, or if I was just going over a spline back and forth, it might behave differently as well, which might be worth looking into. But I like being able to do it with animation sequences because it's easy to like put them into sync. So let's see here. Okay, that's still... So it's definitely not the speed. Is it just that the site, like that site doesn't have collision for some reason? No, I don't think it is. But let's just double check. What does purple mean again? I think purple means... I think purple might indicate an issue. Unreal layer collision view. I think, yeah, this should be, because if it doesn't have collision, just for shits and giggles, right? If I just go in here and say no collision, it disappears. So this is, collision is just like dynamically moving collision, is I guess what it's showing. So it's not that it doesn't have collision, it's probably to do with the animation sequence then. Or the fact that it is... It might be the fact that it's also overlapping with other collision, which is making it freak out. That might be part of the issue. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see if Google has anything about it. Unreal sequence animation mesh collision issue. Help with collision in sequencer. This seems like somebody having a similar issue. Nope. Maybe that's just not what sequencers should be used for. But I would really prefer if I didn't have to make this like through code. So I guess this issue still is kind of similar. I think what it is doing, and I wouldn't change it if I made something through code, is that it's not actually like moving, but it's just updating its position. But that's what movement is, so maybe I should just shut the fuck up. Yeah, that doesn't actually make a lot of sense. Oh my god. I don't know. Let's set this back to medium actually, just so that it looks slightly better. I'm gonna just try one more time. And maybe this is something that I just fix some other day. Because I am getting a little tired. And I've got to give all my skeleton meshes also, got to give them a socket for where those like appearing effects should take place. Because right now they're just spawning in from their like feet location, just like the location of them in the world. But they should be spawning in from like halfway over. Oh, I just made that halfway up the body, so that it feels like they're actually like coming out of it. Just gotta add a socket to them. It's not that big a deal, but just gotta do it for every mesh, or at least every mesh that will enter the scene through that method. Oh, I remember now. So the issue is, as long as I'm moving, it properly updates my collision. If I'm not moving, it kind of freaks out. I literally made a video about this topic, but I don't want to. Unreal character collision when not moving. There should be just a ball to flip, right? It's kind of insane that it isn't. Yeah, it's just a character movement component that just moving it back and forth like 100th of a unit every frame. So that it's always got inputs is the way that I fixed it. It's kind of insane that that's the way you have to fix it. Characters can't move without clearing it. That makes sense, though. Okay, I guess we just need to add in that little bit of code. It shouldn't affect the gameplay at all. It technically would have a little bit of performance impact, but like negligibly so. Where is my tick? Surely I have a tick. Do I not have a tick in here? Well, that's actually pretty good. There we have. Get character movements. Actually, I think we just like add inputs, right? Get velocity. Let's only do it when the velocity is 0. So only like equal 0. It's not ideal, but we'll have to do something, right? So this would be like y 100 and y minus 100. We might need to take that thing out as well. Let's just play from there from now on, because honestly, I'm getting tired of walking through the whole stuff. over and over and over again. Oh, but that's not going to have any light in it, is it? Let's first see if this ends up being like weird and jittery. I mean, it kind of is, right? It's kind of jittery. It also makes you turn that direction, because of course it does. Oh, it's because I didn't connect that up, probably. Yeah, I think it shouldn't make you jittery because it's like resolving the delta to being 0, but it's still being activated as hey, you are moving. Like there's active movement happening, so it's handling the collision better because of that. But it's not actually applying any movement because it resolves both of those to like a delta of 0. That's what I remember of it anyway. I don't know if that exactly is how it works, but I'm gonna pretend like it is and hope that I'm right. I'm finally getting a little bit better at dodging that rune attack, which is really nice because I've been playing this game for God knows how long. This will not make it interact better with the actual like NPCs and stuff, but it'll okay. It's also not with me. Now let's see what happens if we don't put in that velocity check, because that might be interfering with something a little bit. I don't know. Still not jittery. I swear to God, if they fixed this workaround and didn't actually fix the character movement components, like collision detection, I'm gonna lose it. I don't know, it feels a little framey, but I don't think that is due to what I'm doing with the thick event. I think that's literally just my GPU sucking. I'm playing on maybe high settings. I don't really care that it's a little framey at the moment. Just want to get up there. I want to test whether or not it's going to be pushing me off again. This always is an issue. If I move, no problem. The moment I stop moving. That fix doesn't even work. Did they really patch that fix? Did they really? That is bananas if they did. Maybe it needs to be a force? I don't think it would need to be. Yeah, none of this is working. Character collision does not move detect moving objects when idle. It's very bad limitation, it seems. I fully agree. I know that Epic is working on a alternative movement component system, which hopefully will address this as well. It says here, the developers, that pushing characters with actors is currently unsupported. I'm also... That is fucking insane. That is actually insanity. Yeah, so people are just like adding overlap boxes and applying forces through that. Issue door a physics actor, and my character blueprint component, check collision root capsule component. Capsule component is what is used to detect collision and wound in general, rather than a mesh, I know. Expand collision presets if you are using the pawn collision presets. I mean, we can check. Yeah, definitely has physics, obviously. I mean, it's got fucking gravity, of course it has physics. And then switch collision enabled to collision enabled. These people are fucking insane. Yeah, level design is going quite good, but the issue is that we have these like little pusher blocks, and we're running into a very old common Unreal bug, and that is moving actors don't apply like collision and like forces to stationary characters. That's just how the character movement component operates, and it's kind of fucked. So as long as I'm moving while this is pushing me, that's fine. If I just stand still, it just ignores the collision altogether, and it's like actually fucked. And there used to be this... I can try selecting force here and see if it updates better that way, but there used to be this fix for that I've used in the past, where you just move your character back and forth in the same direction, just a tiny little bit every frame. That way it will always technically be moving without actually moving, and the physics system will treat you as moving, and as such just like work properly with the collision. And I understand that it thinks that, hey, if you are not moving, you wouldn't need to have any collision interaction, right? Because you're not moving. But with that logic, it entirely forgets the rest of the world around you can still be moving and should be interacting with you. So this is like a genuine, very annoying design flaw in the character movement component, which you would assume that after a long time they would have fixed, but it's probably something fairly fundamental in the character movement component that can't just be easily fixed up. But we'll see here. Maybe this fixes it. It probably won't. Yeah, you see, this is kind of like not great. Obviously, if I'm moving, you don't have this issue. You see, it's only if I'm standing still. And if I start moving while like inside, it even like pulls me back and stuff. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. So yeah, the issue is that the simulate physics is turned off on pawns, it seems. Because it conflicts with the character movement component. So you would need to have custom character movement. So even if you're moving... Actually need to apply the velocity to the base character on overlap event. Yeah, you need to like manually program in your movement when you get pushed by these things, which is fucking insane. Um, oh, you might actually need to... Hold on, I might have misremembered. You might need to flip-flop this. Hold on. Let's just do it like this. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That might fix it, but that'll make it jittery, surely. Float. So that'll make it... I guess you can just make it a very tiny value, judging by the Unreal forum post that I have here. So they probably didn't actually fix this, but what they did instead, or what I did instead, is just fuck it up. Let's see if this causes jitter, first and foremost. Because if it does, this is not a solution. What do you know? It causes jitter. Not even jitter, it just causes weirdness. So like that's just straight up not a solution. That's just not okay. When I'm moving, that's like it's fine, but like this, obviously not, right? But that might be because it's movement input Y. Maybe if it's movement input X, it just... But then it would be going back and forth, which I don't think is much better either. But the Y input is the rotational input. The X input would be the forward input, so that might be slightly better. Let's see if this even fixes the issue, and then we can see if there's any way to fix the like jitter issue. I suppose we could even multiply with delta time to make it a very small number. Probably want to do that anyway, because now it'll be acting differently between different frame rates. Let's check. So we have a little jitter thing. That kind of it's still jittery when it pushes us, but we can like live with that, right? That's fine. I don't know why it has such a big like jitter. It's just because my input is that sensitive. Maybe with the X it still does the same. So maybe what we just do is we just do it like that. So make it absolutely humongously tiny. Well, that gets rid of the jitter. Does it actually fix the pushing issue though? Because if it does, that would be great. I was supposed to go pick up a package tonight at like one of my neighbors' houses where the like postal service deposited it without my permission, which is always great. But it seems like we're running a little late here, and I don't think I'm going to be like ringing their doorbell like post 10 p.m. So it's probably going to be a tomorrow thing. It's not that big a deal. It's not a very important package or anything, but I would prefer if they didn't just randomly put it. It's not even like my straight up like next door neighbor, which like you have packages delivered there sometimes. It's like 3 doors over because apparently nobody was home. Like at that point, just bring it to like a pickup point for me, because they have a system in place for literally that. I wouldn't have been able to pick it up now, but I've tried to like go pick it up twice already today and they weren't home. Okay, so the movement now is too small for it to register, which is fucking dumb. So either it is, maybe I just need to disable force. But it seems like either the force is, or the movement is too big to the point where it'll make him wiggle back and forth, or it's too small to pick up. Like, this is not a solution. I think we can all agree that this is not a solution, right? It works. Good solution. No, it doesn't. Can't believe this is still an issue. You and me both. This was July 2021. Holy fuck. Okay, I see another... Safe. That's a C++ thing. Move. Update components. Let's try it with this. Split structure pin. X. This one will be translation, not rotation. That might actually help. Okay. That's get forward vector, please. Get actor forward vector. I think that's just a matter of multiplying this with forward vector, and that should fix that. I think. Nope. It's just making me face that fucking way now. Oh, it's because the rotation. I'm an idiot. Get actor rotation. That should fix it. Okay, I can at least walk around. I don't have any weird jittering. Please, for the love of God. I can implement this in the C++ file for all enemies as well, so that the enemies will always do this as well. But that feels like at some point we're getting to... The CPU is going to notice if we have like 20 enemies doing that every frame. Right? So that definitely should be a bool. That I can toggle just on enemies that might interact with something that's moving. So that it doesn't move them back and forth every frame for every enemy. If you don't need that to be the case. Hell, I might even make that a thing. Just nah, that's going to be too much design work. Never mind. I was going to say, I might make that a thing on the character itself so that it only does that in levels where it's relevant. But I think that would be more trouble than it's worth. Okay, moment of truth. Fucking works. Holy hell. Okay. Issue fixed. Still dumb that this is an issue to begin with. But again, I think it is because it's something pretty fundamental to the way the character movement component works, because it has like its own like movement querying and stuff like that. presumably in the new mover component system that Unreal will have. It's still like in experimental phase, so definitely going to be used for this project. Those components will not have this issue. I did not have chat open for that entire thing, sorry. So does the problem lie in the character blueprint or the moving platform? The issue is that when a character with a character movement component is standing still, it kind of assumes that nothing is acting upon it to presumably to save resources, right? Because if you're not moving, you don't need to check collision for like moving into walls and stuff, is probably the logic there. But that entirely skips over the idea that other things can still move into you. And you can't really do much with applying velocity directly easily because of the character movement component overriding some of the like normal physics stuff in Unreal from what I read. So that was the issue. The issue is that the character movement component just kind of stops doing collision when you're not moving. So what we're doing now is we're tricking this thing into thinking that we're moving at all times, which, I mean, if this is the fix, that's fine. But at this point, I feel like Epic could just introduce literally like a tool that does this under the hood just for like user friendliness. Because this has been an issue for years. And if they can't just fix it, that's fine. If it's something fundamental. Because you don't want to break like a bunch of stuff open that might like break people's code when they update. I understand that. But at least like supply this little workaround, like patchwork thing as a solution for people. And like you can even have a tooltip saying, warning, this is very intensive. Only use if necessary. Like they have a bunch of things that have that exact warning. Like, hey, don't do this unless you really, really need to. Like that could be a thing, and that probably should be a thing. No, it wouldn't have worked if I put a separate collision box around the thing, because the whole thing is the character movement components. So the collision on my character itself stops working when I'm not moving. It's nothing to do with the thing that's like moving me, because these boxes have collision. As long as I'm moving, it recognizes that collision. It's just when I stop moving, my character itself stops recognizing that collision. So either what I need to do is I need to program this thing to physically move my character when it recognizes it's overlapping with it, at the same speed that it is currently moving, but then I need to program in something where it keeps track of its own like movement delta, and then applies that same movement delta to the character every frame as long as it's overlapping, which means that all of these boxes now need to be blueprints instead of simple static meshes that need to run an overlap check on every frame per box, which is more intensive probably fairly quickly than the solution that I have right now, and also would require a lot more like finicky code. So that is the issue, and yeah, it's performance over logic, kind of. I can see how this kind of slipped through, right? Because it's pretty much an edge case, and an edge case that you probably only catch like a year or two after you deployed this stuff, and then you're like, yeah, but now other people are already like using this as well. And the character movement component is an old piece of Unreal Engine code. Like, it's been there for a hot minute. So I can very much also see that being something that they coded and implemented when they weren't as rigorous with making new content. Like, at this point, before something is actually added into the engine and goes from experimental to like alpha to beta to release, that takes a while, and it needs to be like battle tested in like actually big projects. I can very much imagine that that wasn't as much the case back when this was coded, and that is probably why this snuck in, because it seems like something that you would catch, right? But if it's only like 5 to 10 people just like throwing out numbers, it's totally something that you can miss. But that doesn't excuse the fact, obviously, that this is a fix that works. Relatively intensive. You don't want to use this too much. But that they didn't just like make this an option just in the character movement component, just add in like one bool that does that. That would have been a lot better. And I suppose you can implement that yourself, but I don't want to. Anyway, now that we have that fixed, this level is more or less good to go. And this stream also is more or less good to go, because it's been 3 hours, and I said this is going to be a shorter one because I was tired and I wanted to go pick up the package at the neighbors, but I might not today. That'll probably be a tomorrow kind of thing then. Anyway. Lots of code for a simple physics event. Well, to be fair, physics is quite complicated, and I'm very happy for Unreal Engine being there, so that I don't have to code that stuff. Like, Unreal Engine still supplies me with like 99.999% of things that a game engine needs to provide you with, without like almost any issues. So that I can focus on actually making the game that I want to make. So as much as I'm like bitching about it, like, do see that in that context as well. Been going through tons of your tutorials. Thank you for posting for us noobs. I'm always happy to have people be helped by my stuff, and to see people being happy with learning. Specifically with learning, not with just copying. If you just want to copy a tutorial sometimes, that's fine, but like, I'm trying to like put myself out there to make people actually learn and actually understand stuff, so that over time they need tutorials less and less, which is like really cannibalizing like my own business model, I know, but like, that's what Patreon is for. People who appreciate that giving me money when they have money to spend for that. But anyway, I'm rambling on now. I'll be back on Tuesday when we'll do some more stuff. I don't know what we'll be doing. Well, we'll be doing level design. We'll probably, depending on how far I get throughout the weekend, got a lot of stuff to do this weekend, so probably not too far. We'll probably fill out this little area here with some content, because this is just an empty hallway for like a large majority of it. Like, this part just being empty is okay, because it leads up to this, and then we've got this, which needs a little bit more tweaking, I say. And then, like, these little straightaways probably could do with a little bit of content. And then moving on to the next room. And at some point, we're going to be done with this purple dungeon. And, man, I can't wait for that. But for now, it's been a good one. Thanks for the stream. Catch you in the future. Oh, yeah, simple physics. Yeah. Currently going through your gameplay ability system series. The gameplay ability system is amazing. I hope that you'll be able to pick up on it. 3D artist, and I needed your coding tutorials. I'm kind of jealous of anybody who's like actually good 3D artist. Like, a lot of the art that you see here, like these characters, I did also make myself. But this is like about the extent of my 3D modeling capability. And my texturing, well, to be fair, this thing is fairly old as far as like the texturing goes. I'm not the best 3D artist in the world, as you can maybe see. Like, this thing is also fairly old. I'm quite happy with this character, aside from the fact that he's blurry as all hell. There we go. I'm quite happy with that character model. But then I also need to animate, so it's a lot. I'll see you all back on Tuesday, or not. Bye. I also, hold on. Which button do I press for?